This is your host and real estate coach, Rafael Cortez. You are listening to the REI Wholesaling Podcast, where every week I bring you the real-life case studies and strategies you need to level up your real estate wholesaling business. If you haven't done so yet, go to reiwholesaling.com. Again, that's reiwholesaling.com. Sign up and get free access to your Wholesaling 101 course. This free training teaches you step-by-step everything you need to close your next wholesale deal and start making big money now. Fam, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the CEO Pulse Podcast, where you get the real, the raw, and the mind of entrepreneurship. Right now I'm sitting. I have a special treat for you guys. Yeah, that came off weird, right? But I don't care. I'm going to roll
sounded
with it.
great.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just nervous, man. I'm excited to have you in the podcast.
I'm fired up, bro. I'm fired up to be here, man. It's going to be a good one.
Absolutely. We have a very special guest for you guys. It's Austin Zaback. This guy is a serial entrepreneur. He's done over 2,000 deals, wholesale deals. He started wholesaling back in 2014. Now he's the president and the founder of One Roof Real Estate. But he's got his hands in a couple of different verticals, right? You have a VA agency, you have a mortgage business. I mean, you've done a bunch of different things under the umbrella of real estate. And you're on track to do 1,000 deals this month, man. I mean, that's
this year.
This year, I'm sorry. This year.
Man, I'd love to do 1,000 a month, bro.
Wouldn't that be crazy? I don't know if you want that headache.
I don't know about that. Yeah, that's a lot of deals.
Yeah, it's a lot of deals. But it's impressive, right? Like you're going through right now, especially. I mean, we're going through a market shift. There's a lot of things that are just kind of up in the air. People are waiting to buy, properties in 6 months and that sort of thing. Yet you continue to crush it. You did 350 deals last year.
Yep.
When everything, pretty much, the proverbial shit was hitting the fan. I mean, you were still plowing through things, right?
We were, yeah.
So I'm excited to jump into all that stuff and find out more about how you run your operation, what your thought process is behind this whole thing, and just get to know you more, man. That space. Welcome to the show, man.
Dude, I appreciate you having me, bro. I'm honored to be here, man. And you're the man, dude. I've been looking up to you for a long time, bro. And for everybody watching and listening, you make sure you stay to the very end because this is going to be a good one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick his brain. I already have the green light to pick your brain on marketing strategies, everything that's working, everything that you're seeing. So it's gonna golden episode definitely.
I said dude, ask me anything, bro. I'm an open book. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yep.
So you started back in 2014, right?
Yep.
Give me a little bit of context on how you jumped into the space of real estate and space that you're in, and then how you grew through from there to now. It's been 8 years. So
So when I was going through Facebook one day, right, and I was like 18 at the time, I think, and I saw an ad of Cody Sperber. Right. Yeah. And he was, I think he was like in front of the bank, he had a check and I was like, dude, and he was
infamous Chase Bank commercial.
The infinite, right. And he was the OG in that game, by the way, And Cody's like, make money in real estate, no money down. You don't have to be a licensed agent. You don't need, you don't need any experience. Like you could just do it right now. Right. Yeah. And dude, he got me, bro. And I paid Clever Investor, Cody Sperber for mentorship. Yeah. And that was really how I got into real estate, bro. I ended up getting a mentor at the time, and then dude, eventually Cody became my actual partner. Wow. And we became really good friends, and and it was a lot of fun, a really fun journey, and and obviously a lot of trial and tribulation along the way, right? Yeah. A lot of failure along the way, a lot of hiring and firing and figuring it out, and we still go through a lot of that today. But man, we're really blessed, and here we are, and we're crushing it, bro. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. So you did a very, very smart thing. I mean, you cut the learning curve right out of the gate. I feel like a lot of people just, they're hesitant, right? There's interest a lot of times in, okay, I'm interested in I don't know, building a real estate career or building my own business and being an entrepreneur, but there's no commitment, man. Like it's a totally different story, right? When you have that commitment, you pull the trigger on things like that place you in front of the opportunity of becoming partners with, your mentors. So I'm blessed to say that I've shared the same experience with my mentors, and I mean it's a really it's game changer, right? Your perspective changes, the way that you see the world, the way that you see opportunities changes. It just opens up
massively.
Yep,
I couldn't agree more. You have to hire mentors, dude. Like I think you can either go try to figure it out all by yourself, or you can pay to shortcut the learning curve.
I like what you said. You hire mentors.
Yep.
You got to hire mentors. People see it as an expense. It's not. I mean, it's the mentor is working for you, really.
For sure, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to, man. I think that, like people don't want to invest, dude. Like you got to invest in yourself first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%. So walk me through the process, right? So you start, breaking into real estate wholesale. Is that, from that, I know you've done, fix and flip and projects and that sort of thing, but what else have you tapped into? How did you get from just wholesaling to having your hands in multiple different verticals?
Yeah. So I got into wholesaling. It took me a while to figure it out, right? It took me probably almost a year. I think it was like 8 or 9 months before I actually did my first deal. So it took me a long time to figure it out. Once I figured it out, I ended up once I did it one time, right? Like I did my first deal and I'm like, dude, I could do this without, I could do
it's proof of concept, bro.
Unlimited, right?
Yeah.
And so that was when I had like that aha moment, right? Of like, oh my gosh, and then I started wholesaling and really, dude, I was just a student of the game, and I think that's what really got me to where I'm at today ultimately. But like, man, I met Josiah Grimes back in the day at a very early age. I met
smart guy,
really smart, really intelligent human being, right? I met Hunter Runyon. I knew Torsten Colson. Torsten Colson was my mentor, my original mentor. So Torsten worked for Cody, right?
Yeah.
And the clever investor. And so in the beginning, I didn't have any dialogue with Cody, right? In the very beginning, it was I paid Cody, but like ultimately I got Torsten, right?
Yeah.
Which turned out incredible, by the way. And Torsten was great. But what ended up happening was I just started to like, dude, every day it was just like, how can I just ask questions, bro? Like, what can I do? Like, what can I? Like, you give me something to do and I'll do it type of attitude, right? And I wasn't looking for like a big payday. Like I just wanted to learn, and so man, I would just go bird dog, bro. Like I would, in the very beginning, Josiah and Torsten and all these people would give me their leads that they were like a dead lead or they didn't have time to work the lead or whatever. And I would drive out to the house and knock on the door, right? Yeah. Or I would call them or whatever, and I would get the properties under contract. And then I would bring it back to whoever gave it to me, right? Whether it was Josiah or Torsten or whoever. And I'd be like, hey, like I got it signed, now what,
What's
right?
next?
Yeah. And they're like, when we sell it, we'll get you paid, right? And I was like, cool, like give me another lead, like I'll go to the, and so I'm driving all around and figuring it all out. And I did that for quite a while, and I never like they would just pay me. I think like back, and I don't remember the exact details, but dude, like I just got paid whatever, bro.
Yeah.
And I never like complained about it, right? Like I remember times where like I would see how much they sold the deal for. Yeah. And I'm like, dang, dude, like I only made $3,000 on that. Like you guys make like 80 G's, you know what I mean? Like, but I never said anything, right? Like I was never that guy that was like, I deserve more money or like, I was just grateful, right? I was really grateful. And then one day Torsten was like, hey, have you ever thought about becoming an agent? Yeah. And at the time I'd never thought about becoming a real estate agent, right? Yeah. Ever in my life. Like I was like, dude, no, I've never thought about it, And he's like, well, you should go do it. And I'm like, okay. And so I went and did it, man. And I think in like 14 days, I was an agent from the day we had that conversation. So I did like the 9 days.
Oh, yeah, you knocked it out in 9 days.
Yeah, dude, I turned and burned that thing, because
I did the same thing.
Yeah, bro, my mentor told me to become an agent.
Yeah.
And so like I didn't have a bunch of questions. There wasn't like, but how come? Or like it's gonna cost too much money, or like I don't know what to do. Or it literally was my mentor said do it and I did it, right? And then and I went and did it, man. And then very shortly thereafter I was an agent, and now these guys were like, hey, why don't you start representing us on the MLS? Like you make offers on the MLS, right? And this was like 2015. Okay, so Torsten and Josiah and them would call me, and they're like, and Jamil even back in the day, and these guys would be like, hey, dude, you're gonna write 10 or 20 or 30 offers a day on the MLS, and you're gonna represent our entity, right? Yeah. And if we get a deal under contract, it's a good deal. They're like, we're gonna wholesale it to an end buyer, and you're gonna make the commission as the agent. So you'll make your 3% or your 2% or whatever. And they're like, but if your commission gets in the way of us like doing the deal, you have to reduce your commission in order for us to do the deal, and then we'll cut you in on the back end, right? So like it was truly just like me just grinding, bro. Like that was really it, man. Every day I would just wake up and grind, and And then eventually, one thing kind of led to the next, and I ended up partnering up with Cody. I did a lot with Josiah, traveled a bunch with Josiah. I did a lot with Jameel. They all kind of became, and this is way before Keegley. Like this is when.
Yeah, you're talking 2015?
Yeah, so Jameel was partners with Chris Hyman.
Yeah.
At the time, and then Cody and Josiah and Torsten were business partners, and Hunter was a student of Clever Investor as well, like me, right? Yeah. And so eventually they all branched off, and Torsten kind of left, and Josiah left, and Josiah and Hunter partnered up with Jameel, right? And I just kind of did my thing, bro, and I kept kind of grinding and working at it and bouncing around, and eventually I became partners with Cody, and that was really awesome, and he became like my actual mentor, and that was really cool, dude. We did a lot of deals together, and I started to get bigger as like a real estate agent, and I started to get bigger as a wholesaler.
And, right now you have a team of what, 40?
Now I've got so my retail team is at about 40, and then I've got another 40 agents, and then I have another probably 25 on the wholesale side. Yeah. So I think right now we're at like 65 or 70 people internally. Yeah, that's not including our VA company or anything like that.
Dude, that's a good sized company. It's
pretty
a big
good
machine. It's a big machine.
Dude, you should see our office, bro. Like clear, jam packed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike mine, you look at it's usually me operating out of this big.
Nothing wrong with that, bro. Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
No, we create models, right? Like, you can run a pretty solid business with VA staff or people working from home, depending on the level of accountability that you have and that sort of thing. And I think it's one of the beautiful things about the current state that we're in. It's we can choose, right? Whether we want to operate like that and have everything in house or do it virtually. So
agreed,
that's
bro.
Awesome. You said you have 25. What does your wholesale operation look like?
Yeah.
Walk me through that.
So we have multiple different like departments. So we have so our retail division, they actually, so like we have like 4 or 5 different departments, okay? So you have retail, and then you have agents who want to write offers on our behalf, right? Yeah. So we have 40 agents. So about 10 or 15 of them at any given time have the opportunity to make offers on our behalf on the MLS, right? So, on average, we have like, let's just say we have 15 agents of the 40 who are making, let's just say 10 offers a day on the MLS. So we're making 150 offers a day every day, right? And then we have an entire team dedicated to DTS, right? Direct to seller. Okay, so I think we have like 7 people right now in-house that are just direct to seller. Okay,
are they cold calling? Or what are they doing?
So remember, I own a VA company, so we have like an infinite amount of leads, right? Like because at one point we had 32 VAs just personally for our team, outbound cold calling all day long, right? Yeah. And so they were generating direct to seller leads all day long. So it's mostly VA cold callers that put the lead into our CRM. And then our internal DTS team is following up and doing the acquisition.
DTS is direct to seller, right? I want to kind of pause in there and then just interject, right? And to not lose sight of the picture. You started, bro, door knocking.
Yeah, literally.
You started hustling, door knocking. So 32 agents cold calling may sound daunting. Somebody who's getting started in real estate wholesale and that sort of thing. But you started door knocking, you built it up. So like
I remember door knocking, bro. I remember knocking pre-foreclosures. Yeah. Like, dude, I remember like it was yesterday, bro. Yeah. A lot of it, dude, over many, many years. Oh my God, dude. Like I failed a lot,
Yeah. And you say that with a smile, man. I like that.
Dude. Hey,
I've learned that.
You live and you learn,
means.
dude. Yeah, you live and you learn, man. And I want to keep failing, bro. I can't wait to fail,
Well, I think that means, right, that we're growing and we're just moving forward. We're not gonna fail in the stuff that we already know, like the palm of like the back of our hands. You know what I mean? Like doing the same stuff over and over again. You become very proficient. But I think that just failure altogether just entails growth, right? Like every time that happens, just understand that you got bigger.
I don't even think there's such thing as failure, bro.
Yeah, no, you
learn. What are we talking about here? Like failure is a good thing, and I think in school, like we get taught like not to fail. Yeah. Right. Like when we grow up, it's like, oh, like you failed the test. Like you don't want to fail, right? And I think as we get older, we have to fail in order to succeed. Right. And so I think the way that we're programmed as kids, it actually messes us up long term, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, because like, dude, in business, if you don't fail, you're not ever going to get anywhere. I've never met anybody that didn't fail in business. I've never in my entire life, dude. I've yet to meet that guy, right?
Yeah.
Like it is a constant failure, right? And I literally fail every day of my life.
Yeah. It happens. It's just, part of the nature of the beast again, but the rewards, right?
Oh my gosh,
they're absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
People see the highlights. A lot of people see the highlights that, the trips, the Teslas and the nice cars and, everything, right? Yep. But, they omit, they don't pay attention to that, to that grinding stage. They don't pay, to that. And it's important to understand, right, that it's a rite of passage almost. Having that tenacity to go through that, like it's a must. It's part of the requirement.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah. No, I agree, bro. And I think, dude, we're ultimately like, even if we try to be authentic as content creators, I think we're all showing our highlight reel.
Yeah, absolutely.
To a degree, right?
1,000%,
and people have to understand that, right? Like that's just called good marketing.
Right.
And so I'm showing my highlight reel, you're showing your highlight reel. Once in a blue moon, I'm going to get on there and give it to people, right? The real, authentic, vulnerable, transparent, right? 100%, right? But that can't be the majority.
Right.
The majority has to be the highlight reel because it's good marketing.
Yeah.
Right? It's good marketing, So I think people have to understand that. And I think when you're, and even for us, dude, like I watch people every day where I'm like, oh my God, dude, like they're doing way bigger things than I'm doing, right?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Every day, bro. And I got to be careful, right? If I'm not careful, I will have a negative outlook on what I'm building.
Right.
Right. And I've got to be very careful every day. I have to make a conscious decision that I got to be in my own lane,
right.
And I've got to run my own race, and I was just talking to a guy. On my podcast a little while ago, Michael Banovic. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a big developer, and he's friends with, or he's partners with Tarek El Moussa and a lot of people, and he was like, dude, he's like, I heard this story one time of like a horse.
He's coming over on Thursday.
Okay, very cool. Yeah. So he was telling a story where he's like, man, there's this horse in the Kentucky Derby, right? Yeah. And the horse, is the gates open, right? Yeah. And he's running as fast as he can run, right? And after a little while, the horse is looking down, and after a little while, the horse looks up, right? And the horse realizes that all the other horses are in front of him, right? And then after a little while of him, beating himself up that all the other horses are in front of him, he realizes that he's one lap ahead of all of the other ones, right? And so I think that's just a good representation of like, everybody's got their crap, bro. You can't compare to other people, dude.
Yeah, that's important, right? It's important to just get a really good solid hold on that, because otherwise you have that shiny object syndrome that's gonna leak in, right? Mm-hmm. But then you have comparison, man. Comparison is the thief of all joy in reality. And as we're going through this process, we're not just going through the pains and struggles of understanding the process and building a business. We're growing ourselves. Yeah. The mindset kicks in, right? The self-doubt kicks in, and that's a constant thing. Right? We're never gonna dominate that. If you have doubts, you may control them and then mitigate those, right? Maybe they go away because you got so good at what you have confidence now in the stuff that you're doing. But the second that you grow into something else, and then there's always a next level.
Yeah, bro.
Like shit, those doubts come back in.
You got to be careful, man. You got to be really careful. Dude, the game of life that we play is a complicated game, right? Yeah. And you just got to play your part and do your thing, man. Run your race and be the best version of you that you can possibly be.
I was talking to Brent Daniels, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago, and the topic, right, of focus came up, and it was we were sitting down and I told him those exact same words. Mm-hmm. Like, I think I have my game plan figured out. I was like, what's that? I'm gonna focus on my own race. Yeah. And it's difficult, bro. It's difficult, right? To not look outside of the lane. Mm-hmm. And this, applies across the board, right? Like there's a lot of noise in our industry, in our space, right? So it's easy to look outside of what we're doing and lose focus. I think it takes intentional effort to stay on that track and understand where you're headed, connect with that. If it really is your truth and the path that you want to roll
Agreed.
On,
yep.
It's like it becomes a must to understand how to stay within those parameters. I mean, it doesn't mean that you're not growing. It means that you're focused on what you want, and then opportunities will arise. But
I totally agree, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's incredible, man. I like the thought process that you have behind this whole thing. and your level of success makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
right? When you go through when you backtrack, right, and then you have that innate sense of hustle, and I think hustle is it's a season, it's not a business strategy. Like we have to and that's my whole thing, right? My punchline, but we have to get methodical about building a business and delegating and bringing people on, and otherwise we stay stuck and stagnant in this just one little piece in this little cycle. And you've done a very, very good job about growing your business, tapping into different things, filling in gaps of wherever you see opportunity, breaking into that kind of stuff. So big kudos on that, man.
I appreciate that, bro. It means the world to me. Yeah, dude. And anybody can do it, bro. Yeah. Anybody can do it. So just if you're watching, like you can accomplish it, and you just have to do it long enough.
Yeah, it's just not sexy when you tell somebody, okay, you got to go knock on that door and see if they want to sell a house.
Go grind for a decade.
Yeah.
Fail for a decade.
Yeah, go fail for a decade, and then it's gonna be all nice.
Right.
I mean, it's isn't it crazy, bro? Like the information is out there, everything's out there. I mean, it's one thing that I started understanding as a coach, right? Putting stuff out there, people would ask me like, "You're creating more competition." It's like, no. It's even if it's free on YouTube, like you're not really creating competition, because people will see it and they get enamored with the learning process, but not with the action process.
They're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, exactly.
99% of them, dude.
It's crazy.
1% will.
Yeah.
There will be one person who watches what we're doing right now, or 10 or whatever, and they will go take massive action. But the majority will never do anything.
They get motivated to spark something.
And dude, even if they do, bro, dude, there's enough for everybody.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You and me, we compete every day, right?
Yeah.
Me and Brent, we compete every day. Me and Pace Morby, we compete every day, right? Me and Jameel Damji, we compete every day. Me and Josiah, we compete every day. And guess what? We all make a lot of money.
Yeah.
We all make a lot of freaking money, bro. Yeah. There's Brent Daniels was on my podcast the other day, and he's like, there's whatever amount of homes in America. I can't remember how many he said, but basically the number, I think, and don't quote me on this, I think it was like 13 or 14 million people at any given time are in a distressed situation, right? Yeah. That's a lot of freaking people, bro. Yeah. 13 to 14 million people at any given time are in a situation where
for a model that you can do virtually.
Right. Yeah. Dude, there ain't 13 or 14 million wholesalers out there.
No.
Dude, I'd be surprised if there's 100,000.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, exactly. You're completely right. 100,000 actually doing the business and going through the ringer, right? It's the amount of opportunity is insane, and then we have that for homes, right? But then you factor in commercial. You throw in multifamily. You throw in land. I mean, there's so much opportunities out there. It's a matter of getting up and taking those actions,
getting the opportunity,
cutting the learning curve, understanding where do you need to really dig your heels in deep and go from there. So I love it, bro. So you have your wholesale operation. You have 7 people running that, and then they go DTF, which is direct to or DTS, direct to seller. And then what happens? So you source the deals, and then are you guys still going on physical appointments, face-to-face appointments, closing over the phone?
Not on the wholesale side. Yeah. Our retail side will go out and do the physical appointments, and then remember, our retail agents are trained to give people a cash offer. Yeah. So when we go on like a listing appointment, right? Yeah. We're going to go on that appointment, and then we're going to give people multiple different options. So kind of the idea of One Roof, right?
Right.
When we started this company, One Roof, we already had all the other companies that we already did everything that One Roof does. One Roof is more of a marketing. It was more of a branding and marketing play. Yeah. And it was more of a consumer-facing name that people could make sense of, right? And really what it was is, hey, we do all these different things under one roof. Yeah. Right. And so when we're talking to a seller, or we're talking to a buyer, or we're talking to somebody, we present it like, look, we don't care what you do. Yeah. Here's the cash offer. Here's what it would look like if we put your house on the market, right? Here's what it would look like if we got creative and we did a seller finance or subject to or a novation or whatever, right? Here's what it would look like if we did a buy now, sell later, right? Yeah. And so when we put 5 or 6 different options in front of them, we just let them pick. Yeah. I make money no matter what, right? And so I think that, and we make sure our agent makes money no matter what, and whoever does that transaction makes money no matter what. So to answer your question, the agent will go on the appointment if we need to go on the appointment, but the agent might not walk out of there with a listing. They might walk out of there with a purchase contract.
Yeah, with a wholesale deal.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And are most of your deals coming from the MLS?
No, not at all. I would say probably 30% come from the MLS right now, if I had to ballpark it.
Yeah.
And I'd have to look. I could give you an exact number if I was sitting in front of my computer. Yeah. But no, I think the majority of our deal, it's probably like 30% MLS, another 25% like agent off market. So like an agent brought us a deal that's like a pocket listing, right? Before it hit the market. That's probably another like 20-25%. Another 20-25% is probably, or maybe 30% is like DTS.
Hell, so you're making about 60% of your business from the licensed agents, right? Because they're, I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't say quite 60, maybe like 40.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe like 40.
A good chunk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, and a lot of our wholesale guys are licensed too, and I didn't even include them in that 41 number, but they just don't practice retail. So a lot of our retail people do wholesale also, or do like the investment side.
Right.
But a lot of our people who just do wholesale don't do retail, but they do have their license.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not including them in that number when I give you that 41 number.
Do you require it, like, to have a license, or?
No, I think that we encourage it though.
Yeah, me too.
We don't require it. I don't see why you wouldn't be licensed, in my opinion, right?
I agree. I mean, that's a big question, right? Like, what if I don't want to get my license because then I'm going to get in trouble if I'm wholesaling? No, you don't. If you're doing stuff right.
Completely inaccurate, right? Yeah. It's all about disclosure, bro. Yeah, if you disclose that you're an agent, right? Yeah. And all it is when you become an agent, you're held to a higher standard.
Yeah.
Right? You're held to a standard where you have to understand the fiduciary responsibility to the client and to everybody involved in a transaction, right? So when you're an agent, my thought is that, hey, I just got to be very transparent with people, right?
Yeah.
If I'm the principal in the deal, like I'm the buyer, but I'm also an agent, right? Then I'm going to tell everybody in the transaction, hey, I'm an agent, but I just want to let everybody know that I'm but I'm the buyer.
Yeah.
In this transaction, I'm not representing.
There's no representation,
right? Yeah. If there was, if anything, I'm representing myself.
Yeah.
Not you. I'm representing me. Right. And as long as I'm very clear about that in writing, you're not going to have a problem.
Yeah.
And you just got to do good business, bro. I think the other part of it too is like, look at all the people in the world that are wholesalers that don't do good business.
Well, that's the fear. I think that's the fear behind, okay, I'm not going to get a license.
Dude.
And I mean, anyways, I think it's headed that way. Regulations started kicking in multiple different states. Arizona is not regulated per se, but now there's disclosures that have to go into wholesale contracts and that sort of thing. So it's headed that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, a matter of common sense, right? But it teaches good business. I mean, you have a professional way of doing business when you have a license, right?
Agreed.
So why not bring that on to the wholesale side?
Totally
honestly?
agree. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, man, I like it. I mean, a lot of my agents as well. They cross
both.
back and forth.
Yeah.
They do both, and it just makes sense. I mean, that's the reason I got the license in the first place.
Yeah, why wouldn't?
Yeah, if I go somewhere and I present a wholesale offer and that doesn't work, okay, I'll switch to a option offer. If that doesn't work, novation or creative financing. And guess what? Worst case scenario, again, let's list the property,
right?
Do something like that.
Yeah, dude, and I can make money. You don't want to pigeonhole yourself, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people pigeonhole themselves, and it's like, dude, like there's so much more to the game of real estate than just wholesaling or just subject to or just whatever. I mean, like, all that is great, but have multiple tools in your tool belt, in my opinion.
Oh, 1,000%. You can't be a one-trick pony. Like, just, shooting the wholesale offer, like, I don't know, 2015, it worked.
Yeah, bro.
But
it worked great in 2015.
Yeah. Not anymore. Not anymore, I can tell you that much.
I agree.
I mean, not saying that you're not going to get deals, but it's like you got to have different ways of solving the problem.
I agree.
And there's plenty of tools out there. I
agree. Yeah.
So you have, that's your acquisition process, lead generation process. As far as selling your deals, do you guys have this big, super secret top, buyer's base, or do you have a different way of displaying deals?
No, dude, we just work.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people, bro, like, they don't work. They say they work. They talk about work. They talk about the grind. And they don't do nothing, bro. Yesterday, we did a double down day, right, at our office. And what that meant is that everybody in my whole office got there at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And everybody in my whole office left at 8.
Bro.
Right? Retail and wholesale, right? Yeah. Everybody, right? Transaction coordinators, like my partners, my videographers, my editors, So I think, dude, like, we just grind, man. Like, and now we don't do that every day, right? That was like we we call that double down day. We do that like once a quarter, right? But every day we do work really hard. And I would say every day we're in our office from 8:30 till 5:30.
Yeah.
Every single day, bro.
Yeah.
And I think like, you know, when it comes to buyers, you know, dispositions are just, it's a relationship game. And it's also a pick up the frickin' phone, bro, and call the buyer. Dude, I think we live in a world where everybody wants to buy Investor Lift.
Yeah.
And they want to send an email blast, and they want the buyer to call them, and they want to sell a deal. And sure, that might work sometimes.
People, I want to say that a big majority of the people out there right now jumped into it maybe 2018, 2019. I think that's when we saw that hockey stick spike on people jumping into the game. But they got spoiled, bro. Like,
dude, bad.
You throw a property out there and then it would get snatched. Right
Anybody,
away.
if you got into wholesaling in like 2018, 19, 20, 21, like you don't know yet how to work.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If you can survive in 2023 and 2024 and you can go make $1 million, or you can make whatever your goal is, obviously, right? You can make 100 grand, 500 grand, whatever, 5 million, you know, then I think you have what it takes. Yeah. If you can't, then you don't.
Yeah.
Right.
This season, I think it's gonna thin out the herd.
Which I'm excited for, by the way.
Bro,
you know what I mean? Like I'm ready.
It's a way of the regular. I think we have to be. I think now we have more than ever. We have to be smarter about business, right? Mm-hmm. It's still a volume game, but you have to mix in that systematic approach with the human side of it. I mean, we have it as a standing protocol. Yeah, we reach out to people via SMS and emails and all that stuff. I mean, we have this big massive process of disposing properties, but one of the first things that we do right out of the gate is call the VIP list. That we actually call, we hit, pick up the phone and hand out and start calling. Hey, listen, what's up? Like, yeah, we have this one deal. Do you want it? It's gonna go out to the big massive list tomorrow. But we hit them, via phone, and most of the deals sell
before you even send the deal.
Yeah, exactly. They sell that way, and then you supplement that with other stuff, right?
Sure. Yep, I agree.
Another practice that we have in the dispo side is we're consistently building the buyer's list.
Yep.
So it's
every day.
like every single day. It's not a.
Some people are like, I have a buyer's list, right?
Intentionally building the buyer's list.
And when's the last time you updated the list?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you're telling me that half the buyers on your buyer's list bought in 2015? They're not buyers anymore.
Yeah.
Right? They got out of the game. They retired. They're traveling. They're in the Bahamas. They're wherever, right? Yeah. I think you hit the nail right on the head. There's new investors getting into the market every day, right?
Yeah.
Somebody watched HGTV, they watched Tariq El Moussa, and they're fired up, right? They want to flip their first home, and somebody's got to sell them a house, right? But how would you get that buyer on your list if you weren't constantly building it?
Right.
Yeah.
They want to do they want to do business with people who are doing business.
Yep.
Like that. That's what it comes down to. Yeah.
Yep. And you got to build that relationship. You've got to build that trust, right? Yeah. And the credibility, and then you have to. And you've got to, when you get that good deal that fits their criteria, you got to make sure you pick up the phone and call them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Never too good to pick up the phone and have a conversation.
Never, bro. A lot of people are though. I think we live in a world, man, where I'm telling you,
don't do that anymore.
Like you ask like how we dispo. I think I'm telling you, we just work.
Yeah.
We just work, and we network and we talk to people and we leverage other people if we have to, dude. If we can't sell a deal, I'm calling Raphael, right? I'm calling Jamil. I'm calling Jack Iman. I'm calling Chris Iman. I'm calling, so like I think we built this big network too, like where obviously we're going to try to sell the deal ourselves, right? And 80% of the time we do. And then 20% of the time, we don't just cancel the deal.
Yeah.
We freaking call everybody in town and we say, hey, do you have a buyer for this thing? Let's do the deal, right?
We have, to get into the nuts and bolts a little bit, we have a 7-day process. It's a 21-day process, but it repeats 3 times. So it's a 7-day process. So day one, we reach out to, the first thing that we do is pick up the phone. And then, next thing that we do is send out text messages. But we have this sequence, right? And if we get stuck with a property, we're hitting day 7, day 6, and we haven't gotten traction on it, we'll reach out to some. It's part of the protocol. It's part of the process. Okay, cool. We give it a shot. We're not. This is not going anywhere. Let's see if somebody else has a buyer for this thing.
Sure.
And you level up. You squad up.
You do. You squad up. And a lot of times, bro, your squad will come in like if I send you a deal, hey, day 7, it's not moving, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, and what a lot of times will happen is you'll be like, hey, dude, I have a buyer at 210. Right. And let's say I have the contract at 220. Right. And so you come back to me and you're like, dude, I got a guy that'll take it at 210.
Yeah.
But you need to go get a reduction. Right.
Yeah.
In order for us to move the deal. Now we know what number
now you have
it will sell at.
Stake on the ground. Yeah.
Right.
One thing also that plays very well into that is commercial stuff. For example, like I understand how to look at residential stuff, right? But when I started looking at commercial, I was looking through the glasses of a wholesaler. It was like, all right, I'm going to get that property for $500,000 and then sell it for 550 if the ARV is this. Commercial is a whole different beast, right? You have value add opportunities. One case in point is we're always sourcing properties, and as we're going direct to seller, you see this too. You get multifamily, you get land, you get commercial deals, you get stuff that comes at you. Sometimes they look big and scary. So what I do is I reach out to somebody who I know can help me and put a different set of eyes on something like that, get a different perspective. We're working this one deal right now. It's in Mesa, and it's a value add play. But I was looking at it as how can I wholesale this thing? And then different eyes came in. Because of that collaboration, and it's like, no, this is totally a value add play. Let's see what we can do. The zoning calls for this and that, and I saw I think we ended up seeing about 6 different options of what to do with that property and increase the revenue,
which is incredible. You have to look at it every way possible, right?
Right, and if you are like, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, if you guys come across a deal that's out there and you don't know how to look at it, you don't understand it, maybe scary. Think about who. Okay, who can help me look at this from different glasses.
Totally agree, dude. Yeah, who can? And we do that to this day, dude. Like, I don't know everything in the world about multifamily, right? I don't know I'm really good at single family right now, right? I'm getting better at multifamily, and in the very near future, we're gonna raise capital and we're gonna buy multifamily and we're gonna buy storage and we're gonna develop, right? But right now, dude, if I get a storage deal, right, where it's a development opportunity to build a friggin' a CubeSmart or a storage facility, right? I don't necessarily know how to run every number on that deal quite yet, right? I can get a general idea, but then I'm going to call one of my buddies that has done that 100 times, and I'm going to be like, look, bro, I've got a deal. I think it's a deal, right? You tell me if it's a deal. If it's a deal, let's partner on it, right? And then I'll do that 2 or 3 times, and then before you know it, I will be an expert at storage, and now I can go do it on my own, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or I can keep doing it with that guy or whatever. It doesn't matter,
Yeah, the opportunity is still there, though. You can capitalize on it when otherwise you would probably lose it.
Otherwise, you just pass on the deal.
Yeah,
you're like, no,
money.
I don't know how to look at it, so I'm not going to look at it. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's crazy. I like it, man. So, I mean, your thought process through this whole entire thing has gotten you through the highs and the lows, and I mean, you're building a very, very solid company. And I say building because you're still in the process of, right? You're scaling, you're growing, you're tapping into more opportunities as you go. And you never know what tomorrow holds, right? When you're on that path of growth. I mean, you have this track record of taking on things, right from the, from the front, and then just, kind of the bull by the horns. And I think that's really a winning combination, right? When you have that tenacity, that ability to take action, and then you have the understanding or the awareness that putting yourself in spaces with people who can level you up as well, like as you're all going through this process, it's a must, right? So
you have to have that, dude. I think you have to know. You have to be able to, you have to hang out with the right people, right? So to your point, I'm always trying to hang out with the right people, right? Who can I hang out with that they're way better than me? I very rarely want to be the smartest guy in the room, right? 99% of the time, I'd love to be in a room where people are way smarter than me, and I feel dumb. I'm like, oh my god, like I don't even know how I got in here. You know what I mean? Like, who let me in here?
Bro, when you feel inadequate in a room, like, holy shit.
Yeah, dude. I'm like,
what am I doing here?
I get like anxiety,
Yeah.
And then, but then I figure out how to manage it, right?
Well, that and then there's just value that we have. As individuals, everybody has this, right? You're gonna have an X factor. I have an X factor. I go into one of these rooms, people are killing it. Again, we're seeing the highlights.
Sure.
But there's value in there. Like, for example, one of the things that I know I can bring to the table all the time is systems.
Sure.
Like I have a systematic way of looking at a business and then just kind of laying down the apples and
this podcast studio is a good example of that, right? I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I've been to very few people's podcasts in my life. Right, where they've got a setup like this.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
I mean, dude, I haven't, bro. I go on people's podcasts and they want to do a virtual podcast when they're 10 minutes from me. I'm like, why are we getting on Zoom? What are we doing? Like, come on, like these cameras would be way better. Like good audio, good cameras, no latency, like no Wi-Fi problems, right? Like, dude, people won't, so I think like, you are good at systems. Obviously, you set it all up. It's complicated, dude. All these lights and these wires and these cords, it ain't easy to do, right? But you understand how to do it.
Yep. Yeah. So it's, and a lot of times, like, it takes us a minute to understand what our X factor is, right? But putting ourselves in rooms like that, like, I think it forces us to take that step forward.
Agreed.
Right. So
I agree, bro. Yeah. I need you to come to my office and help me dial it all in.
Let's break it down, bro.
Yeah,
let's
dude,
break
I
it
love
down.
it. Yeah. No, you're good at that for sure.
So before we start kind of tapering out, man, I have a question. Like, what would you what piece of advice would you give somebody who's getting into the space that we're in, breaking into real estate as an agent, as a wholesaler, considering your journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think number one, find a mentor, right? Find somebody that has what you want and do what they do. Walk like they walk, talk like they talk, act like they act. I mean, literally study them, right? And do it, bro. I think with no expectations. I see people every day, man. The number one question when I interview a real estate agent, right, on the retail side, the number one thing people do typically is they ask me what the split is going to be. Yeah. What's the split, bro? I'm like, dude, if that's your mindset, you got it all wrong, bro. Yeah. If you're worried, if the first thing that you're worried about is how much money you're going to have to pay to be here, then you don't see the value in being here, and we are not a good fit, right? We are not a good fit. Right out of the gate, yeah. Right out of the gate. So I think when I got into real estate, my mindset was never what is in it for me in the now, right? I knew in my mind that the day would come where I would win at a really high level. Yeah. I didn't need to ball out right then. I was 18, dude, who cared, bro? I just wanted to learn, man. Yeah. So that my mindset was like purely like, how can I serve? How can I give? How can I provide value? Yeah. My mindset was value. Not how I can make money, right? Yeah. So I think, and for an extended period of time too, I'm not talking like do it for a month. Yeah. I see a lot of people that do it like really good for a month, bro.
This thing doesn't work. They've been at it for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, they're like, I'm gonna. No, it's like, dude, you got to go for like years of hard work, right? Yeah. So I think you got to do that. You got to go into it with humility, right? Go into it with humility. So find a mentor, find somebody that you align with, go into it with humility, and do it for an extended period of time. Don't do it for a week or 6 months and then get a big ego and be like, oh my God.
It took you what, 8 months, 9 months to get your first deal?
To get my first wholesale deal, dude. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So you got to grind it out, man. I think you have to grind it out. And man, if you're brand new, I think it's just like, you're either going to have money or you're going to have time. Yeah. And so if you've got money, then throw money at marketing, right? Great. Yeah. Hire a mentor, throw money for marketing, buy a friggin' billboard, do pay-per-click, do whatever your heart desires. Yeah. Hire VAs if you want to do cold calling, text message, whatever you want to do, right? It all works at the end of the day. It's just like you have to be consistent no matter whatever you do, right? Yeah,
that's the thing. Consistency, man, is key.
Yep.
And sticking through it. I think one of the challenges is giving things enough time to work.
100%, right? So you either have money or you have time. A lot of people get in, they don't have any money, right? Well, then you got all the time in the world, you know? Yeah. And with the time, you got to grind. It goes back to door knock, dude. You got to door knock. You got to drive for dollars. You got to go bird dog for people. Yeah. Join a team, dude. I think a lot of people, man, that get into wholesaling in particular for some reason and real estate as a whole, they want to be their own. They want to be the entrepreneur, right? Yeah. That's great. Okay, fine. So be it. But you can, in my opinion, like I was on a team for a long time, bro. I joined Cody Sperber. I joined Josiah. I joined Hunter. I worked for these guys. I didn't have my own show. There wasn't like, I didn't have my own, I mean, like I had an LLC, but I didn't have like a big company at the time, right? It was me swallowing my pride and my ego to learn from the best in the game. And then eventually you can do your own thing, but you can't do it too soon.
Yeah, you had your sights set, right, which is a good thing. I went through and I feel blessed, man, to say this, but I went through a process, kind of like that. I had another business. It was in transportation. I had that for 8 years, and I sold it, and I did well on it. But I wanted to get into real estate and wholesaling, learn from the best. So the opportunity came up to work. So I was sitting on my butt for a while. I don't know, a couple months, right? After I sold the business, I was like, okay, cool. I want to do something, but I don't know how to. I'm listening to podcasts and doing all kinds of stuff. And then Sean Terry sent out an email looking for an acquisitions guy. I was like, all right, cool. Mm-hmm. Again, like you say, you swallow your pride. Like I've been a business owner for 8 years. Right. Like, I've had 50 people under my payroll. Yeah. I'm not gonna go work. No, like it's silly, right? Like it's cutting the learning curve. you know, every opportunity that you get. So I did that. I ended up working with Sean. My idea, like going in, I told him, you know, my plan is to, I don't know, maybe, you know, I'll stick around for a year or so. Like I said that right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I ended up working there or for him for just under 3 years, just because the opportunity for growth in the environment, you know, was there, right?
Yeah.
And then it allowed me to just, you know, keep pushing the envelope
Sure.
on different things. So,
and I love what you said, dude. You know, going into it, it is silly to think, man, oh, I'm a baller. I'm too good for this, dude. I'm not too good for nothing, bro.
Ego is not your bingo, man. Like, you have to, you know,
you gotta be willing to sweep the floor, man, and do. I get in the trenches all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always in the trenches, dude. I'll make the phone call.
Yeah.
I'll do the freaking meeting, dude. Just yesterday or like the last couple of days, I have an agent that she got a deal, and the deal's kind of important because it came from Zillow, and you know, Zillow is kind of an interesting game on the retail side where like you got to maintain certain metrics in order for them to keep giving you deals, right? And she couldn't make it, you know, to show her client, and then like a few days later she couldn't make it to go to the review for the inspection period, and I told her both times, I'm like, I'll do it. Right, I'll do it. So here I am driving to Mesa, you know, doing a freaking letting somebody into a property, right? And on the retail side, right now in 2022, I didn't do any retail personally at all, right? Because I got out of that game, you know. But I'm not too good for that. I know a lot of team leaders that are like, nah, like go ask one of the other people, right? And other people offered. Right. And because she put like in one of our, you know, Slack channels, you know, hey, like who would do this for me? And I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then another one of my top agents was like, no, I'll do it. I was like, no, I'll do it. I want to make sure it goes perfect. Right. Not that I don't trust nobody, but I just wanted to do it, you know? So I'm not too good for that, man. And I think
lead by example, man.
You have to. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's been an amazing talk, dude. Like I knew some of the workings of your business and some of the, you know, pieces of your background and whatnot, but, you know, seeing it all together or, you know, hearing it all together, it's impressive, bro. Big kudos. I have a lot of respect for what you do. I have a lot of respect for you. I mean, and that's been, you know, it's gone on for years. So I'm glad to know that you're crushing it. You're killing it. If somebody wants to work, and you JV with other people, right?
All day.
You get deals all day long.
All day long.
If somebody wants to reach out, maybe bring you a deal or work with you, or, you know, just, you know, tap you on the shoulder, where do they find you?
Probably message me on IG, you know, at Austin Zaback on IG. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me. Yeah. You know, I mean, I'm on every platform at Austin Zaback, but IG is probably the best.
Cool. Awesome. My last and favorite question. This is a you question. If you were walking down the street and you ran into your 17-year-old self,
oh man,
what piece of advice would you give that kid?
Dude, just go all in, man. Like don't doubt yourself. You know, you can do anything you put your mind to. You are your own. You are gonna get in the way of your own self more than anybody else. You know, like in life, man, we get in our own way. Like we think that we have like other people holding us back. It's just not true. We're the only reason that we don't achieve what we want in life, right? Because we get in our own way, and we have insecurity, and we have doubt, and we have fear, and there's things that hold us back, right? And we have childhood trauma or whatever that made us and shaped us to who we are today, and then we think we can't do certain things. And I would just say, like, get rid of all that crap. Like, throw all that baggage in the garbage can. You know, you are God's highest form of creation, right? Like literally, like God's highest form of creation. You beat like 300 million sperm to be alive, right? Like literally, like you're a freaking champion. You know, like you're here, you're on earth, right? Like you're living, you're alive right now. Like, dude, you are blessed. Like you can do anything you put your mind to, bro. Like I don't care what that is. I don't care if it's flying to Pluto. Like whatever you want to achieve, you can achieve. And I think that ignore anybody and everybody, including yourself, that says that you can't do that.
I love it, man. That's deep, and it's huge, and it's very, very real. It's very true. I love it, man. Bro, it's been a blast having you on the podcast. It's an honor. Thank you so much, man.
I appreciate you having me, man. And by the way, dude, I just want you to know, massive respect for what you built and what you've accomplished and the network you've created and the value that you provide everybody. And dude, I'm just honored to be here. And I hope that we can do a lot more in the future.
Absolutely, man. Same here, brother.
Yeah.
Same here.
Hey, good
Thank you
pod,
so
bro.
much.
Yep.
Heck yeah. Fam, thank you for listening. Every week I bring you the real, the raw, the mindset, the case studies, and the strategies you need to build your own successful real estate wholesaling business. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't miss out on real life experience and information that can make you millions. It's time to join the ranks of successful wholesalers and real estate entrepreneurs like the one you just heard, and take advantage of one of the biggest opportunities that we have in our lifetime to generate wealth. So go to reiwholesaling.com. Head over to my website, again, that's reiwholesaling.com, and learn how to make big profits, make big money by finding, negotiating, and closing wholesale deals from your own backyard. You've heard the stories, seen the case studies. Stop thinking about it. It's time to write your own. Again, head over to reiwholesaling.com, click on coaching program, book a discovery call, have a conversation with my team, and you might get an invitation to join hundreds of students throughout the country who are leveling up on a daily basis. The writing is on the wall. Hustle is a season. It's not a business strategy. Take action, start building a sustainable and scalable real estate wholesaling business, and join the coaching program today. I will catch you guys on the next one. Talk to you soon. Stay focused. You got this.